Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Nashley and I started this YouTube account I think during COVID, and I didn't have a lot of videos out or whatever, but I'm deciding to restart it again, and it's gonna be more so kind of same thing, but now I picked up reading, which I love, as you can see. So I'm gonna be making a lot of reading videos, and I start school again soon, so I'm also gonna be making school videos and stuff like that. But yeah, today I'm gonna be showing you guys books that I've read this year that I have loved. I think personally I didn't have a lot of 5-star reads or whatever, because it's only been I think actually the year's almost over. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of 5-star reads, but I have a couple, so I'm gonna show you guys those. So I'm gonna start off with my favorite romance book this year. Yours truly. I mean, oh my god, this book, she is amazing. I literally I had heard so many people talking about it, and it was all over my Instagram, and YouTubers that I also watch were oh my god, you have to read this, blah blah. So I was I had to get my hands on it. So I read it, and I literally binge read this in 2 days, 2 sit downs, and I was done. Literally, I hadn't read ever a romance that was so fast paced, so that immediately on the first page it kind of just dove right into things, and the whole kind of aspect of it was so good. I don't know how to summarize this very well. I'm horrible at summaries, but it's about these two doctors, and one of them has social anxiety, and he comes in on his first day of work, and things go really bad. He gets off on a bad foot with everybody, a bunch of his patients die on the first day, and he's very, since he has anxiety, he's very socially awkward, and so a lot of the nurses and staff think that he's not a good person, that he's kind of has an attitude, this and that. And she kind of gets intrigued by that, and she's oh wait, hold on, let me backtrack. Something happens, and he wants to apologize to her because he doesn't want her to seem as if he's a a mean person, and he writes her a letter because it's the only way. Writes her a letter, or no, a letter that because it's the only way that he can express himself very well. And he's oh, blah blah blah, and turns out that she writes to him back, and they kind of start this thing, sending letters back and forth, and then they start eventually talking, and it's just it was the most beautiful love story. This was a 5-star for me, and I hadn't ever read anything by Abby Jimenez, but she outdid herself for me. I think this is the second book in the in a universe that she has, Part of Her World. I think it's the first one. Yeah, I think it's the first one. I might be wrong, but definitely want to pick up more of her books. 5-star, amazing. You guys have to read it. This may be controversial, but I know a lot of people either hate or love Ali Hazelwood's books. I'm a lover. Personally, I love, I'm in college, I study health sciences, which is in the STEM field, and her books are amazing, which is why I recommend Love Theoretically. It was her most recent release. I think it came out in June or May, late May. I might be wrong, but whenever it came out, I read it, and I literally am not a person to tab books like this, but I was just obsessed. I don't think you guys understand, even this cover, it's giving. It was so cute, and I get the why people don't really like her books in general, because they get repetitive. It's not bad, her writing is amazing, but I do get the repetition of the stories, back and forth, and it's just I don't know, I eat it up every time. For a little summary, so it's about Jack and Elsie, and there are two physicists. One, I think she's a theorist and he's an experimentalist, if I'm not wrong. Okay, this book is about two physicists, Elsie and Jack, and one of them is an experimentalist and one is a theorist. And so Elsie, she's completing, I think, her thesis or PhD or something like that in grad school, and she's a professor on the side, but it obviously doesn't pay enough, so she does a lot of side gigs and stuff like that. And one of them is she's kind of she kind of fake dates people. They pay her for that night to be to play as like to play as their like fake girlfriend and stuff like that. And one of her clients that she's been on like multiple dates with, his brother is kind of like is the love interest, and they kind of like on the first few chapters he's kind of like staring at her when she goes to like their house, and she's like, this guy's giving off like weird vibes. And turns out that he's actually one of her rivals in like in the physics field, because things lead to another. It's like enemies to lovers, and that was a horrible summary, but that's all I can give you. It was so good. I like there was a couple things that like bothered me in this one, but besides that, I like gave it like a 4.5, like on the higher end of a 4-star, because it was amazing. I liked it. I really like. I think it was like almost 400 pages, and it was like super quick for me. I loved it. So definitely recommend it. It was so good. And this one I just recently read. It's Once More with Feeling by Elisa Sussman. And I haven't read The Funny You Should Ask. That's one, I think, her first release. And it kind of follows a similar story. Like, I heard the other one was about like pop stars and stuff like that. This one, she also plays a pop star, but obviously it's not like the whole thing of the story. But I've seen a lot of this book on Goodreads, and a lot of people say that they don't like it, that they rate it like a 1-2 stars. For me, it was a 4-star like book. I did find like the main character, I forgot her name, Katie. I found Katie sometimes like really annoying, and like some of the things that she was doing, I was like, girl, why are you doing that? Like, you're just self-sabotaging yourself. And then like she had it was just, there's a couple minor things, but regardless, like I really liked it. I thought it was super interesting, really fast-paced. I like finished it in like 2 days. It was so good. I'm like horrible at summaries, as I've already said. This book is about Katie Rose. She's like a pop star, and the book goes back and forth with present and past time, like then and now. And the then is when she was like a pop star, and she went on tour with this band, and in that band was her boyfriend and his other 3 bandmates. And there's a trope in here that I don't want to spoil, and like it's the whole thing of the book, so I don't want to give it away. But it's her like in the then with this group like touring and stuff like that, and things that kind of like go on. And then there's something that happens that makes her career like totally like go like downhill. Like she has she doesn't, you know, she can't keep going with her career because of that thing. So in the present time, there's this show that her best friend is writing music for and writes the play for, I believe, and she wants to audition to take part in that, but because of the things that happen, she's kind of like shunned upon in the industry, and all the people like are kind of like like wow. And it takes like, it's like her and this play, and like that's the whole book. Like, and then her love interest is also part of that play. He plays like a director. I can't explain it. Oh my god, I'm struggling so hard to explain this book, but it's basically about a theater show, her trying to get her career back up with also dealing with friendships, relationships, and there's more so to that. But yeah, if you've liked the other 2 books that I recommended, I think you would like this one. The writing was also so good. There's a lot of banter between the 2 love interests, and I ate it up. I thought it was so funny. I was there like giggling. I was like, oh my god, but it was so good. So I definitely recommend this if you want to read it. I cannot do this video if I don't show you the series that has taken up my entire summer, I mean my entire month of August, because the Shatter Me series, oh my god, if you're like on Book Talk, you know about this series, and I fell in love with it. I felt like it was not like, I was used to reading dystopian because when I was in high school, like the Divergent series, the Hunger Games series, the Maze Runner series, those were like my favorite books. And since this was dystopian, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this, and I loved it. The first book was a bit slow for me, but Unravel Me was so good, and my other book got eaten by my dog. So I think it was Ignite Me. That was like my favorite book so far, and Unravel Me, and then Restore Me was also really good. So basically it's about this girl named Julia, and all her life she has these like superpowers that like her touch is lethal. If she touches anybody, they die. And she's basically taken into asylum. Like her parents give her off into an asylum and into the government to like run tests and stuff like that, because like they're like, oh, like take her away, like she has these powers, she's killing, like she's not safe and blah blah blah. So she gets into an asylum, and then in there she gets transferred to a sector to be watched by one of the supreme commanders of that sector. And it's like her life trying to deal with her powers and like learning to understand herself. Like this whole series is about her and her journey on uncovering who she is, and you know, the secrets that are like behind people like her. That's the only thing I can really explain, because I don't know where I'm giving spoilers, where I'm not. But I definitely recommend this. The series is 5 stars for me. However, I haven't finished the series yet, but I'm on the second to last, I'm on the last books, the 6th book, but I've read all the novellas in between, so it makes it like an 11-book series, even though the novellas are like 100 pages, so they don't count. But I think it went a little bit downhill for me personally. I thought the story was like so good. Like I cannot stop reading these books. Like I read these 3 in a week. That's new for me. I don't really read like very fast, or like kind of like stay there in one spot reading a book. Like it kind of takes me a while to read a book. But this series, like I in the beginning I was like reading, and then towards the end I was like, like I've literally been on the last book for 2 weeks now, because it's taken me that long. I just like, I don't know, I think they dragged it on a little bit too much. The author is amazing, Tara Mafi. I think she did a really good job with all the books, but the last one was just a bit slow for me. I don't know, it just like was kind of like a little bit of nothing going on. Like I felt like the story was just repeating, where it could have ended like 2 books ago. Definitely recommend these. These were amazing. I love them so much. So I definitely recommend the series though. It was 100% worth it. And then one of the books that I recently read, I'm a thriller girly. Like I love reading anything that has to do with thriller, true crime, stuff like that. And A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I'm so late to this as well, but this was so fun. Like in the beginning, I had bought this book last year and I DNF'd it so many times, I think because I wasn't in the right headspace, because this book has a lot of characters in the story. So if you're not like in a space where you can kind of concentrate on what you're reading, you're just gonna be completely lost. And I brought it with me on vacation, I brought it during school, and it was just like so many things going on that I was like, I don't even know what I'm reading, so I'm just gonna DNF it and pick it back up when I'm like during summer now, when I was able to like really focus on like, you know, what I was reading. And I finished it in 2 days. I thought it was amazing. I gave it a 4 and something stars. It was definitely a 4-star for me. Like it was very fast paced and stuff like that, and the story was super interesting. But I felt, it's a series obviously, but I felt like it ended like so randomly. I was like, oh my god. But I get it, like, because it's a series. But yeah, so for a synopsis, it's about a girl named Pip, and she kind of has an assignment as her like last senior project of high school to pick whatever topic, do a project on whatever topic she wants. And she picks to solve a crime that happened on this girl in her town or in her high school, I think like 15 years ago. And that girl's name was Andy Bell, and supposedly this kid, her boyfriend, had killed her, and then he like, after he killed her, he killed himself. And then you find that out like in the beginning, like the first page, and she believes that he didn't actually do it. Like there was more to it, to the story, and they just like faked it. So she wants to like see if she can solve it and like, you know, gain more information and solve the crime, because it never, like they never found the body or anything. So she just believes it's kind of sus. So the whole story is just her and her working with the boyfriend's brother named his name is Ravi, and she works with him to solve the crime. And it's basically just them two investigating the town, and while they're investigating they found out so many other secrets, and it's just a ride. I really love this book. It was like so fun. I think I'm definitely gonna read like the next book and the next book. I think there's 3 books to the series, but it's a YA, so if you want to read a YA mystery thriller, very exciting, I recommend it. And then the last book, I'm pretty sure I've never seen this book on like BookTok or BookTube, but it's Lisa Gardner's When You See Me. I honestly, so I went to my local bookstore and I was gonna buy Ignite Me because I couldn't find it online. I know they had it on Amazon, but I really wanted to read it and I wanted the physical copy, so my bookstore had it and I was like, oh, I'm already going there, like let me bring some books that I've had like forever that I'm not gonna read, and they give you like a voucher to like get other books. So I was like, shoot, let me go. So I got like $6 and I got this book over there. It was like, I think it was is a used book, and I thought it was really good. I gave it 4 stars because the beginning was so slow, and for a thriller I'm like, there's a lot of like explaining the scenery and stuff like that where I just like, I don't know, I couldn't get into it. But then towards the page when like 150 and up to like the 400 something page when it was like done, I binged this book. Oh my god, it was so good towards the end because everything was unraveling and it was just incredible. It starts off with this hiker who finds like missing like bones in the woods while they're obviously hiking, and they find out it's like human remains. So they call out a detective from Boston, an FBI agent, and a girl that they think the person who did the murder, she got kidnapped like 400 something days ago, and she might know like more of his motives, like his MO type of thing, like how he did things, and maybe it could be linked to the same person. And so they bring her along even though she's a civilian, and her boyfriend is like a true crime fanatic, so they also bring him along because he's a good like data analyst, hacker, stuff like that. So he knows like all like tech stuff, so he can help with the investigation too. And it's just them trying to solve the mystery of this town, and they found out a lot of secrets. Then I don't want to spoil more, but 4 stars for me. I just think the beginning was a little bit slow, but hopefully my summary made sense. And that's it. Oh my god, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm definitely gonna be doing more book videos because I feel like, I don't know, it takes up such a big chunk of my life and it makes me so happy. So I'm like, if I can share these books, I'm like, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Oh my god, it was my first video in a while, and I'm probably gonna trying to figure out my style too of like how I want to do things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh my god, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you guys.